Riders ready, watch the gate.
Hey, thanks for joining the Dirty Knobs podcast. My name is Hollywood Mike Miranda, your host, and my co-hosts are, as always, JV James Vicente and EC Eric Carter. Today's episode is very special to me because of the guest, Mr. John Cruz. Very special man, a hero to me, and after you hear this, I'm sure he'll be a hero to you too. We have a special message at the very end, so please stay tuned to the very end. We'd like to ask all of our Dirty Knobs friends to please make a donation to a special foundation for John. Hey, and do me a favor, please subscribe, hit that button. Also, check out dirtyknobs.com. We've got some kick-ass merch. We've got t-shirts, hats, and stickers. We're going to have a lot of cool stuff in the future. We got some upcoming live events. Stay tuned for Dirty Knobs. And now, time for the show.
One of the things I was going to ask you, my neck is fucking jacked. I don't know what I did to it, but I don't know if you ever had it. It's almost like whiplash a little. I can't turn my neck a certain way. And if you've never had that, I can't believe that. But I was going to ask you, see if in his sushi bar, he's got a little masseuse in the back. Help me with my neck right now. Fuck. I mean, he's a little late.
The sushi bar isn't quite open yet.
It's not, he has to turn the sign. Put it on.
Hey, did you see what's up in the back corner here?
Oh my God, that is an addition.
The addition.
But wait, what's on the bottom of that?
That's a free agent national #1 team jacket for
No way. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Oh.
Sweet. Yeah, what I was showing you before. Hold on. Let me see if I can turn this. Oh, fuck. That hurts.
I saw the helmets.
You see it.
I
see it there.
I see it right there.
You see your Hutch helmet there.
I do. The JT sticker in there.
It's there.
Yeah. What trophy is that?
That's my first trophy. That's the only one I have. And then the Grand's in the back. I think it's the Grand's. And then the Murray's somewhere in boxes still. We haven't unpacked it.
That's your first trophy?
Yeah.
I got, that's mine right back there.
Yeah. Oh, there it is.
Wait. That's my first one right there.
Yeah. And then you have a Neuro Cup in the back.
Yeah. It says Mike and over Miranda, Buff put some painter tape and it says Buff.
That's funny.
Yeah. And then that's my first. So I want to get EC to go to his mom's house, I guess. All right. I'm going to text John Cruz.
Yeah.
This is my contact for him. Can you see it?
Hold it 1 second. It'll focus. There. Oh yeah. Sweet. We're going to talk about that, but is that the cruise? Is that the cruise right there? The jump?
That's the jump.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a leaned over cross up.
It's like a, you know what? Oh, he's here. EC's here.
Okay.
We'll
ask John about that.
Recording in progress.
Look at him.
You look like you took a shower.
Hold on.
Did you shower?
You took like you took a shower.
Hold on.
We're in the kitchen. We're in the kitchen today. We're in the kitchen.
Yay!
Oh, PBR. Look at you.
We're going all American. It's 4th of July. Oh.
Sweet. There you go.
That's what I'm talking about. Oh, hey.
I got the whole cooler, baby. Oh, the refrigerator. Right, he's got the mini fridge.
Yeah. Guest bedroom.
Oh.
Sweet.
That's guest bedroom is where all the cervezas live.
That's awesome. I like your new location.
How come? You know what's funny? He's never showed me that guest bedroom before.
See? You always
See?
you get the sewing room.
Yeah, you can't drink all the thread.
That's that's right. That's exactly it.
Oh, where's the trust at, brother? Where's the trust?
Oh, dude, my beer's your beer.
I like your setup. I like it.
Hey,
Yeah.
check this out. Oh,
Oh,
Hey,
hey!
I opened the box,
Hold on. Look at this.
dude.
you got it hanging up there.
You stashed me good,
Yeah, JV took care of us.
dude. What's up?
No, I have that whole thing of stickers. I'm going to send you like a shit
like-
ton.
You
Yes.
lifetime supplied me, bro.
No, what?
Yeah, he gave him a double X just for the lifetime when he
Well,
told him, you know.
That's exactly.
Believe
It's
it
a
or
good
not, the double X we're going to run out.
That's the one. Yeah,
Which,
All
Mike,
right.
you were exactly right. That's the size we're going to run out of.
I
yeah,
told
we
you.
are, aren't we?
Yep.
They're gonna just gonna be a run on double X's.
Double A equals double X.
hmm
Yeah,
Ooh.
exactly.
I'm on my way.
There you go.
Speaking of double A, can't
Mm.
wait to bring in this guy. EC, I don't know if I told James, I don't know if I told you yet. This is my guy. This is the guy I was just so excited to talk to and have on
Look
as
at
a
you.
guest. I
Look
know.
at you.
Yeah, I told them that. I said the same thing. I said the same thing. Exactly.
I'm like a fanboy, man.
I love it.
You know,
Yeah.
when back in the day, it was his pictures I pinned on my wall. He was just the guy, the style. And
Yeah.
you know, when I would ride on my little practice track in my backyard, I was trying to be John Cruz.
That's
I was
awesome.
trying to do
Yeah, awesome.
and you know, my jumping style, my riding style, my trying to be all cool and suave was all patterned after him.
How
And,
good? How cool is that?
I know, but still, I'm like a fanboy right
That's
now.
great.
Yeah.
I love it, man. No, yeah, he was definitely a style guy. I mean, I remember him. You know, I was much younger, and he was doing. I think he was like, it was before Redline. I think he was on Speedo, and
Speedo bikes, not Speedo.
yeah, and he wasn't
yeah.
wearing
Not
Speedos.
the bathing.
He wasn't wearing
suit cover, no.
Speedos.
Yeah, he
Wait,
wasn't wearing. Well, he might have been wearing Speedos underneath.
He could pull it off.
Yeah, but yeah, there was a little bit before my time. Like I raced local in '78 was when I started, so I think he was a little bit before me, and you were a little bit before me, and I think that was that time where he developed into your guy.
Yeah.
And but I remember him Patterson and Redline, and just super stylish guy, and you know, all of his pictures in any of his magazine pictures, his kit was always dialed, right? Like pants, his jersey, helmet with good stickers, everything was perfect. The numbers on the number plate were perfect. Everything.
Dude, when I describe him, I always do this with the hands, dialed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just always dialed.
That's
Everything
funny.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
So
see, I'm in the same boat as you. I was telling Mike. I mean, I was just looking at my first trophy that I ever got, 1981, and so it's already kind of near the end of when John started. I mean, I think he retired in '85. I was reading, but
right.
so he's already, you know, I was only a young buck in the whole thing, and
just getting
this is
started. Yeah.
right, which is, and looking at the same as you, like,
Yeah.
you know, see him in magazines, and you wanted to be like that, and the whole 9 yards. But very young I was.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
Totally, man.
Yep. Well, the guy I wanted to be. Let's
Which is
bring him
awesome.
in.
Yeah, can't wait.
Let's bring him in.
Get him on. Let's do it.
Oh man.
Let's get him knobbed up.
There he is.
Oh, look at y'all Cruz.
Y'all, look at that picture. He's just a style monger. Even now.
Oh, I thought he was in his car. I thought he was
yeah.
going to do it in his car.
No.
Yeah. EC just got out of bed.
I like it. Hey,
Hey,
nice shirt, man.
like that.
Yeah.
I do. I love that shirt, dude. That thing is sick.
That's Hoop. You know, Hooper is going to be selling them soon. So he sent me down this one. Made me some stickers. He made me some One Has Been logo stickers.
Oh,
Cool.
That's fantastic.
I do like the shirt. Very
Hey, but
cool.
there's, you know what, man? I love the message on the shirt too.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think we could use a little bit more of that.
Yeah,
For
buddy.
sure. Let me just tell you, brother, you're no has-been. Not in my book.
I'm still kicking, so that's a good sign.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, you know what? I want to tell you, John, at one time I was at a party and I think Mike actually happened to be there. I'm not positive, but we were in Las Vegas. And there was a movie, this younger kid that was a movie guy, and he always takes the piss out of everybody, man. He always talks shit to everybody. And he walked up to me and he goes, dude, how's it going? You has been hanging out here with all the young kids at the movie premiere. And I was like, hey, Tay, it's going great, man. I said, I'd rather been a has been than a never was.
Oh,
you got it. You got it.
Yeah.
That's what my license plate say too. One has been. I wear that moniker proud. You know what I mean?
That's fantastic.
So,
well,
Eric, you know, I'm a big fan of the next generation, and I have to tell you, I'm a big fan of you. So I'm glad that you guys are doing this.
That means a lot, dude. I luckily your boy Hollywood talked me into. Well, didn't talk. He's the one. These guys are doing the legwork, dude. I just show up and drink beer and laugh with these guys and have a good time, man. But
that's a pretty good gig. Now you just got to figure out how to get paid to do it, right?
I know, man. It is a great gig, dude. Well, anytime you get to talk to your friends and have a good time and get to talk to guys like you, dude, that's what it's all about, man. We're just stoked to be able to do this all the time and have a good time.
It's a fun gig. It's fun. I talked to Mike a while ago, and I actually had this plan to do something like this and just have never gotten it off the ground. So I'm glad you guys are doing it. And James, I'm a huge fan of you just because you're so damn good looking.
Well, thank you, John.
And on a serious note, if we're not having an earthquake, if you see a little shaking going on, I have Parkinson's. So don't run out of the building or duck under a table or anything like that. So it's all good. It's all good.
Hey,
keep on keeping on, bro.
Exactly.
I was just thinking I was going to start the whole podcast by just shaking my laptop around, make you feel at home.
Absolutely. I would have loved it.
No, man. Listen, we had a little quick chat just before we got on, because I don't know if my boys here didn't know the whole story about, I don't know if I've ever told you, John. I know we've been friends for quite a while, and it was later in my career when I finally got up enough courage to talk to you in person and say, hey, John Cruz, my name's Mike Miranda, and what have you. But, it's just so hard for me to say this. I'm such a fanboy. I've never been this nervous talking to another BMXer. You were and are and always have been my guy, my style guy, my style guru, the guy I patterned my entire career after. I just wanted to be John Cruz.
Oh, man.
And we always talked about.
You bring tears to my eyes.
Oh man, I'm telling you, I was. These guys will tell you before we started, I was all shaky.
Yeah, we think it's actually pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Hey, and not just before we came on, John. I've done many road trips with Hollywood. Often we always joke about it. We don't even turn the radio on because we just talk the whole time. And many, many, many times we always get into discussions of, who was the best this, or who did this the best, or, what do you like the most? And dude, your name comes up quite often in a lot of those conversations, man. So Hollywood's, awesome. Yeah,
I'm certainly honored. I think and Mike and I always hit it off, and I think we're a lot alike. We have a lot of same values. We have a lot of same riding style. I've always viewed BMX as there's showers and then there's doers. The guys that are out racing for the dough were the Brent Pattersons, the Greg Hills, the Eric Carters. They're training, they're taking everything so serious. They had this freaking schedule and a starting date, and all that cool stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, I just showed up, chased the girls, and looked good on the track. I wanted to see where the biggest jump was. I wanted to get twisted in the air.
That's so good.
I just wanted style.
Man, does that sound familiar?
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
exactly, man. I mean, I don't know if it's you or Hollywood that's talking.
I'm telling you, he and I are a lot alike in that respect. And we probably made more money than half the guys that were training and taking everything serious for wins just because we got magazine coverage. You know, we'd write a contract. It would be, you know, give me $100 if I got first place at the Grands, but give me 10 grand if I got a cover. Because I was going to get a cover. I was never going to win the Grands.
Right.
It just wasn't in my cards, you know.
And you know what? You won hearts and minds. Yep. And mine included. And it was your ability to always look perfect, to always have a smile. You always had a kind word and not afraid to share it with anybody. And I think that's what, before I knew you, I knew I wanted to be like you. Yeah. And as soon as I got to know you, I patterned my life to be like you.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, that's just good, healthy, good upbringing from my parents. You know, they instilled values in me, and yes, ma'am, yes, sir. You know, and you just do the right thing. I've always lived my life, even especially as an adult, as, you know, taking measurement on quality of life or your impact on others, you know, mentoring others, and not, you know, what's your pay scale, you know, what's this, what that. It's just maybe to my detriment, because I wasted a lot of money in my life, but
no waste at all, my man. No waste at all.
There's a little bit left still. I'm still all right.
Hey, John, you know, my father-in-law always says you never see a brink truck following a hearse.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true.
So, money, you know, obviously you can't spend money with reckless abandon, but you also got to enjoy it, right? Like, what good is it? It doesn't do any good to die with millions and millions in the bank if you're not having that quality of life and experiencing things that bring a smile to your face and bring a smile to others' faces. So,
you know, my slogan, my company slogan for 30 years was "Life short, enjoy the ride." You know, so much I live it. It's tattooed on my arm. You know,
there you go.
And I really believe that. I believe that, you know, touching people, making a difference in somebody's life, no matter how small or how big or how many, but that's the measurement of a man. And you know, that's what I apply. So don't want to get
that's
too
great, John.
No, you want to know something, John? What's really cool about that, right? Is so if this is you had that impact on Mike, right? Like, so you were Mike's guy, right? And so Mike patterned himself after you. And literally the things when you're saying, like you were saying, yes, ma'am, Mike, I mean, that's trademark Hollywood.
Yeah.
Constantly when he's talking to people, he orders at a restaurant and they say, you know, do you want ketchup on that? No, ma'am. That's classic Mike. So clearly some of that stuff has gone over to Mike, right? But here's the thing that's really crazy about it, right? JV and myself, Mike was our guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's so cool. Indirectly, you have had an impact on James and me because we pattern ourselves after Mike. And I do the same things. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Open doors for people. You do the right thing, right? You be a good egg.
It seems simple, huh? It's like, why doesn't everybody?
I was just going to say the same thing. Yeah, not everybody does that.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
So it's super cool, man. Like, honestly, like, it's a little bit emotional for me, man, because I'm actually learning something about Mike, which is pretty crazy because I know a lot. I know Mike really, really, really well.
Too much from some of these
way too much
episodes I've been watching.
But I'm actually learning something, and I'm learning something about myself through this because of the impact you had on Mike. Man, what a cool experience this is.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, we can talk about the streaking and all the other stuff now.
Let's do it. That's all going to come in. You know, in I did know something about John, and I had to refresh my memory and ask him just to confirm. John, you were born in Vallejo, California.
Oh yeah, beautiful, beautiful.
Oh man! And if
Downtown
people
Vallejo.
don't know, you think Northern California, San Francisco, beautiful.
Yeah.
That's the opposite of Vallejo.
Yeah, Vallejo, and I don't want to get hate mail from Vallejo. I'm proud to be from there, but
I'm from SoCal, so I don't have any problem saying Vallejo is rough.
But Vallejo back in the day was rough. It was, a Navy town and all that came with it. And, but when you're kids, you just, you soak up whatever's around you. You don't measure anything. And, I started the neighborhood kid, Adam Molinar. His dad got all the kids involved in BMX. That was my first taste of BMX, going to the races with that family. And it's in the early 70s. I must have been about 12, something like that. But we had a lot of people come out of Vallejo that were big names back in the day. Ronnie Anderson, Richie Anderson, obviously, Ronnie Sampson was an early guy. Nick Trujillo. These are all early names that many of you won't remember. But I mean, we rocked the house.
Man, I'll tell you. I always thought that being Southern California, we always had the dividing line. You're either SoCal or NoCal.
Oh yeah.
And there was a rivalry and there was a dislike. And for Dodger fans like I am, there still is. I nothing to do with Northern California. But in the Northern California, it seemed like to me from the outside looking in, there was a divide too. There was the Vallejo crowd or the saucier side, if you will. And that was the Andersons, the whole Boss team, Madrano, Thomas T. Tucker, Thomas Ingram, that side, Frank Post. That's sort of the Darth Vader side of the things.
That's where the black sheep lived.
That's right. And then, from the outside looking in, then there was the other side, which was the Pattersons, John Cruz, Kevin Ridling, that sort of side of the what would you call those, the Han Solo.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that would be the Pattersons. That's for sure. They were the ones with the straight teeth and the pretty hair.
And you seem like you always fit in on that side. Again, your uniform was always dialed.
Well, that was my mom. My mom, she would practically press my jerseys and everything. I had to wear a full face helmet when full face helmets were not cool. And because my mom and dad spent all this money for braces, and that's honest to God truth. And I hated that full face helmet. And everybody had a Jofa. I wanted just a Jofa. How simple is life? But
I feel your pain, man. I was the same way, man. I couldn't get open faces either. And we were so poor, man, we couldn't afford a full face, so I got an iron jaw.
Nice.
Oh, is that the attachment?
Yeah.
Like a football. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the bolt-on one with the two screws on the outside.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's funny. Well, I'm a little bit embarrassed to say this, but I'm one of the few that wore the Menno helmet back in the day.
Ooh, we talked about that. We talked about that.
We have it on our notes. We have it on our notes to make fun of you about that.
Oh, dude. Right. Well, no, mine was cool. It was all black, right?
Oh, no, my friend. Yeah. No.
Hey,
it was cool.
I donated that helmet. I donated my helmet to the BMX Hall of Fame. And I think Gork sent it back. No, but the funny thing about that is, the Pattersons were like Brent was my guy, right? Brent was my idol back in the day, and everything that came along with it. The way he was always respectful, and just a great rider and a great mentor to me. Brian was just a little punk. He was, 2-3 years younger than me. So he was like the little brother that you wanted to kick out. But Brent had contracts thrown at him all the time. And back in the day, there were very few guys really making good money. Mike, you could probably testify to this. I mean, we did it for the love of the sport. If we got a contract, it was whatever, a monthly, it was like, big, it was awesome. So I was always riding their coattails. Brent would negotiate this contract. I'll never forget it. Fox was importing the Menno helmet, and Vance kept saying, "Oh, Brent, you want a percentage of sales, Don't worry about the monthly. Just you want a percentage of sales." They're like, "Hey, Cruz, we'll pay you $100 a month to wear this helmet." Yeah, that's ugly, but $100 a month? 17 years old, that's a car payment back in the day. And I'm telling you, Brent never saw a penny. I don't think they sold one helmet. And I got my check every month.
That's right.
So
one more thing I patterned myself after was just do what John Cruz does. Just do what John Cruz does.
Take the contingency money. Take the photo money.
That's right.
Yeah.
Take the photo money.
That was the for sure, man. You got the for sure on that one. That's
dude. I think Mike and I are probably have more covers than most of the Pattersons, and they won everything.
For sure.
I bet.
So, hey, now, when you were on the Patterson, when you rode for Patterson, you rode for them. It seemed like a long time.
Yeah, I rode for them early on. I started with Speedo back in the day, and that was with Kevin Ridling and Mike Coron. And
was it hard to race in those?
It
seemed like it would bind up.
We just flew straight through. That was kind of stupid, huh? So I started riding for them in the early years. It was AAA Fire Control, which I didn't ride for, and then it turned to Speedo. And I rode for Patterson for a while. Then I went off to Redline for a couple of years, and then I went to Skyway for a couple of years, and I went back to Patterson. So every time I was in between contracts, Patterson's always took care of me.
Oh,
yeah,
that's awesome, man.
It always seemed like you were the third Patterson son.
100%. 100%. There were some special deals written in there. Like one year, I didn't have a sponsor. I was negotiating with Skyway, and it was about a 2 or 3 month deal that they were figuring out what they were going to do. So Patterson said, "Well, we'll pay all your expenses and give you the bikes and all that stuff, but you got to work in the warehouse, And so that was a good way to get some warehouse work done, which is funny. You know what's hilarious? I was at Frogtown, and I still need to make good on this deal, but somebody came up to me and brought a letter that I had written to him because he was asking for a full sponsorship.
Wow. And
I wrote the letter, which was a canned letter that our team was full and et cetera, et cetera. And so I talked the Pattersons into giving them a full ride now. So we got to come up with something that's going to be a full ride.
Yeah.
But he actually brought the letter last year to the race, some 20, 30 years later. So
that's cool.
Yeah, pretty neat.
I'm going to circle back to Frogtown. We're going to talk about that. Your ability to be, when you were inducted into the Hall of Fame, you were inducted, and I think everybody had the same thing to say, and that was you were the most stylish rider ever. That's not to say your kit was always dialed, because it was, but your riding style. And everyone, some people can argue who's the smoothest is or who is this, but nobody argues that you're the most stylish rider ever.
You know, I hear that a lot, and I wear that moniker proudly. I mean, I think that's awesome, you know, but like anything, and I think you can testify to this, Mike, is we're just kids riding the bikes, right?
Yeah.
You just get up and you ride.
No, yes and no, because you had a special talent. You had a special gift. And one of the gifts that you passed on that was the cruise jump. That jump and it was one we all wanted to do. We called it the cruise.
Yeah.
And I don't know how or where or when it started.
I know exactly.
I know the first time I saw it, but I want to hear it from you. How, when, and where.
So it was I don't know exactly, but the location, but it was in SoCal, and we were down there for a race, and it was between motos, and there was a big dirt pile, just a pile of dirt that nobody was using. And some kids were jumping it and just, getting tweaked in the air and up and down. I had the ability to go pretty slow and get pretty high vertically, and get all tweaked in the air. And Oz was shooting pictures. And it was just a simple picture. He's laying down, shooting up at me, and I'm twisted in the air. I believe it was Oz, or it might have been Carr.
No, it was Oz.
It was one of the magazines.
It was Oz. The first time I saw it was Oz.
And from then on, everybody wanted me to do that jump. But that was it. That was the catalyst of that style, if you will.
It's kind of like a cross up, like a variation of a cross up leaning, right? Almost.
Yeah. So it's just kind of twisted, and then you kind of fall back.
Right.
Yeah. You tuck yourself behind your plate.
Yeah.
And down, and you get your body low by the front wheel.
Yeah. And you got to twist up.
You got to twist up in it. You got to commit to it.
I love it.
Yeah,
awesome.
And I remember I was like, "Oh my gosh!" We built a jump that went straight up in Sandhills. We make a jump that went straight up, and you went way high, and you came down to a stop.
Yeah,
and that was like our first, like a foam pit.
Yeah.
When I saw you do that the first time, I was like, I couldn't wait to get back to the Sandhills so I could learn how to do that jump.
And that jump, the physical jump, was just like you're describing.
Hey, Hollywood, was that at Irvine?
I believe it was. I don't know if it was Irvine or not. I was thinking the same thing, but I don't think it was. It might have been, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's describing exactly what it was.
The other one that I get a lot of questions on is the stadium jump, where I'm tabletopping.
Super flat.
Just flat.
Is parting shot. It was a parting shot or something, right?
Parting shot.
Yeah. And that one, I actually have the actual print of that. Was given to me. And that one we were at the stadium, and I don't remember where it was. I think it was Texas, in a big dome. And it was a halftime of a supercross race, and we got two jumps, and each team had two riders. And so we did a single man jump, single rider jump, and then we did a double jump, two riders together. And we all did our single jump, and I got crossed up or something, and it was no big deal. And I told Brent, it was Brent and I said, dude, keep up, because I'm going off. And Brent didn't have a ton of style, you know what I mean? And that's not to say Brent wasn't a great rider. He's one of the top 5 in the world.
Oh, absolutely. One of the best racers ever.
Right.
Ever in the history of the sport.
Ever.
And the greatest, kindest person. But he was kind of, stick figure. And so we start cranking. We're bonsaiing up to this jump. And it's a double jump. And Brent does a one-hander. Well, when you just jump straight and just go like this, that's so uncool. And I hung it out. I mean, I just went off, and I didn't pull that jump off. I'm gonna have to burst a couple bubbles, but I landed sideways and rolled, and that stadium went bonkers.
Dude, how awesome is that?
Dude, I got goosebumps right now.
I know. That's why I was good. That is amazing.
Nutty, 50,000 people just, drinking beer, going,
Wow.
It was awesome.
That is
And
so
then
cool.
When the ad or the magazine came out and I saw that, and I was like, where's Brent? And then he gave me the actual photograph. Well, Brent's hands coming down, getting ready to grab the bar. They're like, they cropped that dude out.
Yeah. It's funny. No one know that picture is going to be up while we're talking. No one's going to know there's another person in that picture. No one ever knew that.
Right.
No one ever knew that.
Exactly.
Hey, the Pattersons were great racers, and they were, like you said, Brent was one of the kindest persons. I never saw that. All I ever saw was his back wheel cutting over on my front wheel.
Absolutely.
And then when he wasn't doing, Brian was doing from the other side. We call that the Malachi Crunch. But those guys were, they always seemed like they were mild-mannered, straightforward, all business.
Mm-hmm.
But we never know behind the scenes, John. We never know behind the scenes. You tell us, is that the way it was all the time?
Well, I mean, we traveled a lot together. I mean, you guys know, when we got out of school and we got on that motorhome and we didn't come back till school started again back in the day, I mean, that was the life of a BMX kid, right? Living in a motorhome from race to race. And
amazing.
Monday through Thursday was playtime.
So were they as mild-mannered off the track?
Yeah, but they're pretty damn serious about winning. And they were good.
Business.
Especially when Brian came of age, and became a man, turned into 6'4" or whatever. And it was he and his brother. I mean, and they got a taste of winning. They were just so serious. I lived in Hayward. Brent and I lived in Hayward together, and we called it the Hayward Hills. It was the top of the Bay Area. And Brian used to sprint up this hill, and it had to be like 5 miles or some crazy thing. And that would be Brian's breakfast. He'd get up and he'd sprint that thing 2 or 3 times. Dude, I was making phone calls at the bottom going, hey, Mom, I got a flat tire. Can you come get me? There's just no way. That's how serious back then there weren't starting gates, and the Pattersons had one of the first electric light system starting gates. I mean, they kind of started that trend. And if there was a race in town and the SoCal's guys were up, I remember Stuart and Greg, and Brent and Brian, we would, like, Friday night, there was this big challenge of who could, out sprint each other. Dude, you guys are weird.
Well, hey, listen, I don't want to take away. You were fast. And it was always amazing to me how such a skinny guy could go so fast.
Yeah.
You were stylish, but you were fast too, man. Don't take anything away.
Well, there were moments. I had a couple nationals here and there and a couple this and that. But by and large, I'd win a moto and I'd crash out. The Pattersons had this saying, they called it GNF, and it was called Grand National Fever. And they said, because every time I went to the Grand Nationals, I'd get a headache or I'd fall in practice, and they go, oh, GNF, Grand National Fever. Because I was not the guy that could handle pressure, or I wasn't that guy,
Well, you were the perfect guy for our sport at the time, because you traveled the world and you promoted our sport. Yeah, I know you went to you were one of the first guys to go to Australia.
Mm-hmm. Australia was fun. it was the first real big international challenge. You know, people, we were traveling to different countries, but we were doing a lot of exhibition stuff. You know, the same importer that was in Germany brought me over that brought you over, and Tommy, I believe. But back in the day, Australia was the first U.S. Australia challenge, first international challenge. And I'll never forget that one for a good reason. But
tell us.
Yeah.
So I had a contract. I had a contract with Amy for a lot of years. And Amy said, you know, you have to wear our goggles. And it was a good contract. And I was one of their lifers, if you will. And I said, well, I can't wear goggles. I hate goggles. So they said, okay, you can wear them on your helmet. So you'll see a lot of photos of me. I have goggles on my helmet.
Yep.
And Australia, we get up to the main event, and it's a stacked main. There's some fast guys over there. I mean, serious fast guys. And I get on the gate, and it starts pouring, right? It just starts dumping. And somebody hands me a pair of Oakley goggles. Oakley.
Ooh.
And at that time, if you didn't know the stories, Oakley and Amy were like, you know, just at each other's throats back in the day.
That was a bad rivalry.
Well, Johnny C gets the whole shot, gets cover of BMXA, centerfold, cover of, like, you know, the New York Times in Australia. Everything, tons of coverage, you know, for this big thing with Oakley's on. I tell you, my contract was torn and hit the floor by the time I got off the plane.
Wow.
But that was that, you know. But yeah, those were good times. Australia was probably one of the funnest times because I felt like it was like LA. It was remind me of SoCal, you know, super progressive and fun, and of course lots of girls, you know.
Yeah.
Is that the coolest trip you think you've ever been on?
I look back now, and as an adult, I think I liked Germany the best, and I wish I would have appreciated it a little bit more as a young age. So I went to Germany to be a personality at the ISPO, which was the largest sports show in the world. And it was like a week or 2 weeks long, and it was probably 10 or 20 buildings the size of a gymnasium. Every sport represented in the world, and product. And my job was just literally to ride my bike around with my kid on, ride wheelies, and bunny hop chairs. I mean, that was it. And
they had the right guy for that job.
And it was simple. It was an easy gig, right? And then the following week or 10 days or whatever, I traveled. This particular importer that was the Red Line importer also imported Frisbee. And so I traveled with this Italian guy that barely spoke English. It's funny as hell, in this little van, and he was spinning Frisbees at shows, and I was riding wheelies, and we went to Germany, England. It was a blast.
So you were in the, I didn't know you were in the circus.
It was total circus. It was total circus. The funny thing is, when I flew in, so I had been on tour all summer long, and I get the phone call from Lynn Caston. Lynn says, "Hey, John, we really like you to go one more week, but you need to go out of the country," or whatever it was. And I'm like, I just wanted to go home. I'd been living out of a suitcase for 2 or 3 months. I was ready. My girlfriend was going to prom without me, you know, all the stuff. And so he tells my mom, and you got to my mom and Eric's mom, I think, are a lot alike. Super protective, my little boy, that type of thing. Even though I'd been traveling by myself since I was 13, I think I was 18 at this point. And I was told to just get on a plane. I was in Chicago, fly from Chicago to New York, and there'd be a ticket for me, and I'd fly into Munich, and somebody would pick me up. All I was told was wear your red line jacket, right? And I'd get big bike boxes with red line everywhere. So I fly in. Well, the guy forgets me at the airport. Back in the day, there were no cell phones or texting. Yep. And I've sat at that airport for about a half a day waiting for him to pick me up with my jacket on. And finally, I went to Western Union to send a message. I mean, yeah, it's kind of crazy, but got a hold of my mom. Well, my mom called Lynn Caston.
Oh, man.
And tore him a new one.
I love it.
And you guys all know Lynn. Lynn was just salt of the earth, man. Just tore him a new one. Next thing I know, this guy pulls up in a taxi. I get in the taxi. I go to the hotel. I'm sitting in the lobby waiting for this guy to come get me. And at this point, it had been like 24 hours.
Wow.
But the coolest thing is when I got there, he owned a Porsche dealership. I think it's the same guy that you
think it's the same guy.
He walks up and gives me a wad of cash like this big and says, I'm so sorry. Here, gives me the stack of cash to make it up to me and let me drive by my first 911 on the Autobahn at 17, 18 years old. Holy shit. I was out of control.
Wow.
That's so awesome, dude.
Yeah, that is pretty awesome.
That's worth a day in the airport with your red line jacket.
Totally worth a day in the airport.
You had the red line jacket on, though.
The red line jacket did it all, man. Yeah.
Oh, those team jackets were great, man.
Yeah.
You're walking around the airport with your team jacket on.
Yeah, I wish I had one of those. The red line jacket, the team jacket was cool. Back in the day with Patterson, it was the Electro. The orange jacket,
Yep. There were some cool products that we had back then. I'll tell you, one of my all-time favorites was a product made by John Cruz, my pit kit.
Remember the
pit kit?
That was kind of like, believe it or not, it was like the first roll-up tool bag. I never patented roll-up tool bag or fold-up tool bag. God, I'd be totally set now, right?
Yeah. I mean, all the pros had one. Every pro had one.
I remember you had one. I didn't have one, but I remember you had one.
We sold quite a few.
Yeah, you could stick your red line sprocket, your sprockets inside, your chain wheels inside, and all your tools were at a slot. And you'd roll them up and put it in your bike box.
Yep. And that was just that, out of necessity, traveling and flying every weekend, tearing our bikes down and traveling with tools and throwing them in the box and the frame getting dented, from your, 14 millimeter. Yeah, exactly. And my dad said, you ought to do something like this. My dad's total entrepreneur at heart, and talked me into it and helped me and sourced a sewing place and, it was Cruz Enterprises,
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty neat.
I thought it was great. Now you can get them on Amazon for $11.95.
Yeah, with tools.
No,
it's cheaper than you paid for them back in the day.
Oh man, I don't remember how much. I think they were like $40 or $50, but you had to have one. I mean, it was the greatest thing to have if you traveled with your bike.
Yeah, and most of the pros had them. Most of the guys traveling, you had to have one. You really did. And then I think there was like 3 other guys that we might have sold them to.
Well,
and one of them was probably my neighbor.
In all your worldly travels and all the tours you did, can I ask you, who do you think was the best roommate you had?
Oh boy. I can tell you who the worst was. Let's start there.
All right.
Yeah.
Hell, that's
All
where
right.
we were going anyway. So
Yeah.
Greg freaking Hill. Greg Hill was the worst roommate, not because he was mean or bad or anything. He was just such a prankster. I don't know how many nights I would wake up in the middle of the night chafing from the box of Captain Crunch that he poured in my bed.
Oh,
Really?
my gosh.
Dude, it was just stuff like that. Always doing something.
Wow.
Always doing something.
I never would have guessed that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me neither, man. I love it.
Man.
Greg Hill was the man. As far as the best, I don't know. They were all good. My teammates were all pretty cool. Stu was easy to travel with because he was so much bigger than me. He was like a big brother, and I was always screwing up, and he wasn't. And we were in Australia, and I won that Australian challenge, and I won this big silver cup back in the day. It was the U.S. versus Australia. And Skip Hess, who owned Mongoose, was on the top floor of the penthouse in this high rise. He throws us a big party. So Stu and I are going up the elevator, and I'm pushing the elevator buttons. I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And he's like, John, knock it off. Just knock it off. He's all serious. She's serious. We got stuck in the elevator. They shut it down. They had to come get it and pry the door open. We had to climb out. Dude, I thought he was going to kill me.
He was so mad.
He was so mad.
He wasn't
But that
much of a
was
prankster. Stuart was not much of a prankster.
He was just serious, happy, but serious.
Nice guy, but not a big prankster.
Yeah. As far as
Well,
Rick Palmer was a fun guy to travel with. He was always kind-hearted, and
He's witty, man. Palmer's
Yeah.
witty.
Yeah.
he taught him and Mike Solito. You put those two together, oh boy, it's just nothing but breaking stitches.
I don't know if I told the story or not, but we have a funny a funny Palmer story. We were at the Christmas National with our friend Marlon Pearson. We call him Weewo. And and Palmer walks in. Weewo stayed in my room, and Palmer walks in, and Weewo's bike is leaning on the wall just inside the door. Palmer walks in, how he's straight faced, Wonder White bread guy. Walks in, he goes, "Wow, whose bike is this?" And Weewo says, "Mine's." Palmer looks at him and goes, "Mine's?" He goes, "Mine's." Palmer goes, "Mine's." And he walked out. He just walked out.
He ran.
Mine's? Mine's?
Funny.
Mine's.
Mike, what's funny about it? When you tell the story, you do Rick's facial expression.
Yeah.
I know. I could
When
see
he
it.
would ask the question. That
Mine's?
exactly, dude. Exactly how you would do it.
Dude, that guy, there's guys in racing, their physique. It used to be Pistol Pete. God, his physique, he was always yoked and, just rock solid. Rick Palmer had this barrel chest, and that guy would back in the day, would just get up and do like 5,000 push-ups or some stupid number. I'm just making it up, but that's all he did. He just started push-up. He'd be watching TV, doing push-ups. And he was
massive.
Dude, it's funny
He
you
was
say
in my
that.
class. I used to race against him. I'm like, holy shit.
John, it's funny you say that because I asked him one time, I'm like, man, how the hell did your chest get so big? And he looked at me deadpan like he normally does, and he just said push-ups.
Yeah.
And I thought he was pulling my leg. I really thought, I was like, oh, there's no way, man. That guy's benching all the time or something. Because his chest is huge.
Did you say
Big.
push-ups?
Yeah. That's what he did. He's an animal.
Same with Pistol Pete. Just push-ups.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
James?
Yeah. Yeah, just push-ups.
Just
That's how we
push-ups.
got like that.
That's funny stuff.
Wow. Listen, I wanted to ask you about this. You alluded to it, and I want to make sure we talk about this. You're involved with the foundation.
With Parkinson's. So I was diagnosed with Parkinson's 20 years ago. This is actually my almost 20 years. So I was 40 years old, and struggled for a while there with Parkinson's, saying, why me? Why, why this? Questioning a lot of things in life. And then there became a day when I said, why not me? And it changed my life. It literally changed my life.
Wow.
With that perspective. So I've always been a proponent of spreading the word and trying to mentor people, whether it's one person or 1,000 people. And I started a charity called Ride for a Reason back when I used to own bicycle stores. And with one of my best friends, we started the charity together, raised a little over $1 million in a few years.
Wow.
And a big benefactor of that was the Davis Phinney Foundation. And obviously we want to find a cure for Parkinson's, but you also, in the meantime, you have to live with Parkinson's. And the Davis Phinney Foundation helps people live with Parkinson's.
Yeah.
The Michael J. Fox Foundation is about a cure. Davis Phinney Foundation. If you don't know who Davis Phinney is, he's I think he's touted as one of the winningest road cyclists, U.S. road cyclists in the history of cycling.
That's correct. He is a hero in the road cycling community.
Absolutely. He is Lance Armstrong, Greg LeMond wrapped up into one. I mean, he's the shit. And Davis, I was fortunate to sit on Davis's board for a few years back then, and meet Davis and Connie Carpenter, and who is an Olympic athlete as well, his wife, and learn how to live with Parkinson's. And I've always lived as if I didn't have it. It's an irritant to me, right? Some people get their toe cut off and they don't stop living, they just, there you go.
Or your finger.
Or your finger.
You work around, there's a workaround for everything, right?
You just count to 9.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or 8.5 or 9.5.
The time I saw you at your shop in Folsom and you took me to the side and we had the conversation about, when you first asked, why me? And you came to the conclusion, why not me?
Yeah.
And you were the best person to be the spokesman. And that always hit home for me. And that solidified you as, in my mind, as, again, the hero I always looked up to.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And you to this day, John, you are that guy to us, to me, and to thousands and thousands of other people. And we want to help get that message out through our little venue here.
Sure.
You are fantastic. And
well, if your viewers can check out the Davis Phinney Foundation, and maybe the next time somebody has a birthday, make a contribution. And it doesn't matter how big or how small, they're really helping people live with Parkinson's until we find a cure. And it may not happen in my lifetime, and that's okay. That's okay. But maybe it'll happen in my child's lifetime. So,
right.
Amen.
Yep.
The Dirty Knobs are going to be present at the Frogtown BMX Classic. We're gonna be there. Our friend, we have a friend named Todd Huffman. He's puts the event on. He's invited us to come down, and we're gonna do something special there. And I'm stoked that you're gonna be there. And I'm hoping we'll have another conversation like this with yourself live there at the event.
I'd love to. So I'm working with Todd. Todd's a good NorCal boy, and is put on a great event. Last year, I made all of the trophies. I'm also a medal artist, and I made all the trophies for the classic bike show. Any of the graphics that you're seeing, like logos and brochures, I just finished the cover of a new magazine that's coming out for Frogtown. So I can't say, but it's big.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So, cool stuff. Some really cool stuff.
Well, the Dirty Knobs podcast is so proud to be part of the event, and we're looking forward to seeing you there.
That's
Oh.
fun stuff.
Well, John, again, man, I just want to say it one last time. You are a hero to this day. You're still the guy I look up to. You're still my style guru and my hero.
That's awesome, Mike.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, you guys. I really appreciate what you guys are doing, and it's nice to keep the sport alive by a bunch of old guys. I really dig it. So.
Yeah, man. Well, stories got like we did a podcast the other day, and one of the things they said is the stories got to get told, and they do, man. These are cool stories, man. These are cool memories, and not everybody had access to these stories and these memories, and like Greg Hill, who knew?
I'm blown away. I would have never would have thought that.
I
Captain
know, man.
Crunch, maybe Captain Crunch.
Crazy.
I can't picture him doing that. In between staring at his penny.
Or looking over and watching Palmer do push-ups.
Exactly. That's why it's important to do these things, John, is because there's aspects that we have, or you have, or other people have, of icons in the sport that people that they're getting to see behind the scenes. They're hearing behind the scenes stories, and that's really why we're doing this, Matt. Is because we love the stories. It's the podcast is about the stories, and man, this has been awesome to hear your stories. Has been great.
Wow.
And the underlying message that we get to tell about being a good egg, or doing good for others, or there's always an underlying message, and this was a very important one, John.
I appreciate that, buddy.
Yep.
John, thank you. For me, it's been a thrill. Of course, I've never met you before, so this has been awesome that I've gotten to meet you through this whole thing. I do want to ask you, and I want to pose it to Mike, because I think it's important, because I know for EC and I to see Mike, almost like gaga a little bit.
He was giddy. He was giddy.
Yeah, which is kind of cool. And I know he would do the same thing to us. But Mike, do you remember the first time that you actually met John and talked to John? And do you know that?
Oh yeah. It was an ABA national. I was a single A pro. When I was an expert, I didn't have enough courage to ask him. I would watch him. You know how I was. I watched, like EC, I watched every detail of a racer. Right. I would watch, where they would put their pedals, how they would hold their grip. I watched all of it. Yeah. And I studied John all the time because he was my guy. But it was at an ABA national in Texas, of all places. And I was a B pro. And he sat there, he was sitting near the starting gate. And I used that as an excuse. I went and sat at the gate. And sat next to him for a long time, just staring at the gate and watching the lights. And the whole time, I was not paying attention to the gates or the lights. I was waiting for, okay, what do I say to him? How do I start this? What do I do? And I finally saw him, like the gate dropped and he flinched a little bit. And I said, wow, it looks like you got the timing right. And that's how I started the conversation.
That was it.
The
rest is history, Mike.
Look at that. That is so cool.
That's awesome.
And from that day forward, it was never, ever, he would say, hey, what's up? And I would, hi, hey, John, or hey, and I started calling him JQ instead of GQ because he was always that stylish guy.
He called me JQ for years.
I love it.
I think we ran into each other somewhere and he's like, JQ. And I'm like, how do you remember that stuff?
Dude, they never go away.
That's right. That's
never go away.
Nobody has ever called me that. That's Miranda's name for me. So
it's always been in my mind, it's the perfect fit. You are just gentlemanly, quarterly, but you are just spit and polished, stylish, perfect. And
Yep.
you're my perfect hero.
Thanks, buddy.
Very
I
cool.
love it.
Very cool.
All right, Dirty Knobs. Yeah, John.
Signing off.
Thank you,
Thanks,
John.
John, thank you so much, man. It's been a pleasure to hear, really, man, to see the connection between you and Hollywood and to connect some dots for us. And just to chat with you, man, and hear some stories, dude. Thank you so much for taking time to chat with us tonight.
Well, we'll do it again. We'll do the
For
next generation too. So
I love it. For sure, man.
count me in.
All right, brother.
Thanks,
See you
brother.
in Frogtown.
You
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
You. All right, Hollywood.
Awesome.
Yeah, man. Thank you, guys. That was special for me.
Hey, all you guys, share this shit. I'm not, but you should.
Yeah. How do we do that?
At the least, buy a shirt.
Exactly.
We need that.
That's what we have. Hey, the Dirty Knobs are going to be live. Can you believe it? Live event at the Frogtown Classic BMX Days. That's going to be at Angels Camp, California, September 9th through the 11th. Check it out. Make sure you go on to Facebook and look at Frogtown Classic BMXdays.com. Check out all the information. Hey, Dirty Knobs, we're asking you, our friends, to make a donation on behalf of John Cruz to the Davis Finney Foundation. And that can be done at davisfinneyfoundation.org. That's DAVISPHINNEY foundation.org. Listen, your gift makes a difference, and together we're helping people live better and building healthier Parkinson's communities. So listen, on behalf of John Cruz and the three of us here at the Dirty Knobs, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Well, I hope you enjoyed that one, you bunch of dirty knobs. I'm going to send a box out to somebody who subscribes. So please do that. Subscribe, hit the subscribe button. Comment if you have anything to say. We'd love to hear it. And we will be back out here in 2 weeks with another one. And thanks to our sponsors. Speaking of which, we are going to read some commercials to you now. Thanks for showing our sponsors the love, because they're showing it to us. Thanks again, and we'll catch up to you soon. And then sing it out right now.
All right, coming live and direct from the Colt Clubhouse in Santa Ana, California. Come on down and get all your BMX needs. We're giving away free air for your tires. That's all I got, brother.
That's great. That's great. All right, now.
It's perfect.
Perfect.
Kinda, designed for your journey. On the road, on the trail, or on the racetrack, you can count on Kinda quality. Our tires are engineered for performance and value across a wide range of interest and applications. See why Kinda is the right choice. It's your move.
Imagine how bikes can lead to a healthier, more connected world. Bikes set us apart, free to explore and move and experience our relationships with people and places like nothing else can. At Ceres, we don't just imagine a more bikeable world. We're all in, making it happen.
SR Sun Tour shares your passion of cycling. We are committed to giving you the highest level of service in the industry, along with products that hopefully will exceed your expectations. Serving riders is the cornerstone of our business, and we pride ourselves in doing it.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Velocity Bike Park is the premier bike park for riders in Southern California, with 25 miles of world-class trails, obstacles, flow track, and races for mountain biking, gravel, and BMX.
ABC, the American BMX company, bringing you brands like Race Inc., Cook Brothers, Botima, Box, Kuwahara, and BMX Action. Check them out at abmxc.com.
Hey BMXers, Todd Huffman here. I want to invite everyone to Angels Camp this September 9th through the 11th for the Frogtown Classic BMX Days. 3 days of racing old and new bikes on the famous 40-year-old original downhill Frogtown track. No starting lights or recorded voice and no clips. Only loads of fun riding for all ages. Gary Turner Bike Show, swap meet, vendors, and BMX legends. Plus, it's free. RV parking and camping available. Visit us at frogtownclassicbmxdays.com and find us on social media.
ODI Grips, the world leader in grip technology, home of the lock-on grip system. Check them out over at www.odigrips.com. Mega Design Group is a full-service marketing firm. They handle everything from logos to advertising to packaging. Having over 25 years experience in the print and marketing fields, they can handle any hurdle. Check it out at megadesigngroup.com. Cool Stop Brake Pads. High performance bicycle brake pads since 1977. Check them out at coolstop.com. That's KOOLSTOP.com. Supercross BMX. What can we say? Our lives revolve around BMX. Founded in 1989 to build the ultimate BMX race frame, they've never strayed from that vision. Hey, for more details, check it out at supercrossbmx.com. Amy Grips is dedicated to using all of its manufacturing strengths, including engineering, research, and development, to successfully prepare for future growth while demanding that the quality of its products provide consumers with complete satisfaction. Making grips since 1974. Check them out at amegrips.com.
If you have a Senna cycling helmet, you know what it's like to ride connected. Senna got their start in communications for the motorcycling industry, where they're now a leader. Senna brought their same tech that goes into those helmet-to-helmet motorcycle communication systems into cycling helmets. Senna bike helmets have an integrated microphone and 2 speakers hidden right into the shell. Senna helmets connect together on a mesh or Bluetooth network so you can talk to your friends while you ride without shouting over wind noise, even if you're not side by side. That is super cool, especially in the trails. Senna helmets also pair with smartphones, so you can listen to your playlist without blocking out ambient noise, and you can take phone calls and even hear turn-by-turn GPS directions.
Check out the podcasts that we listen to. These are our friends. We wouldn't be here without their help. So give them a check out. And finally, keep it dirty.